come as no shock that 1 in 3 women have been coerced into sexual acts, physically beaten, or abused in her lifetime. Violence against women and girls is one of the most tolerated human rights violations. My name is Belinda Lottering, and I am a candidate attorney at Moola Inc. I strongly believe that women should know and enforce their rights, especially in the workplace. While we expect the workplace to be an environment for economic advancement and social uplifting of women, it can also be a very dangerous place. Unfortunately, gender-based violence in the form of sexual harassment is a common feature in the workplace. Instead of challenging this unfair discrimination and standing up against their perpetrators, it is more often than not tolerated by women and accepted as part of their fate for entering a man's world. In this first section, I'll be answering the question, why are women not reporting the sexual harassment that they experience in the workplace? And it's simple. First and foremost is the fear of losing your job, or that your working conditions become intolerable, or even the fear of humiliation and victimization that you may experience if you do report it. A silencing culture is commonplace in South Africa, but it is up to us to demand an end to inequalities that women are expected to accept by virtue of our status as female. South African law actually prohibits any and all forms of sexual harassment. Gender-based violence is seen as discrimination on the basis of gender and is described as the most heinous conduct that plagues the workplace. In terms of our law, an employer has the legal obligation to ensure that the work environment is safe and free from discrimination. An employer has a duty to adopt sexual harassment policies that set out clear procedures to follow when a report of sexual harassment has been filed. This brings us to our final section. What can we as women do? What are our rights in the workplace? First and foremost, you have the right to work in an environment that is free from discrimination. You have the right to report any and all forms of sexual harassment to your HR or your line manager. You have the right to speak up about any and all forms of discrimination that you are experiencing, or even to go to the police station and lay a criminal charge. You also have the right to protest about discrimination. You have the right to exercise all of these rights freely and without being retaliated against by your employer. It is normal to feel worried or be anxious about reporting discrimination or taking any action to make it stop, but you need to remember to do what is right for you. As a nation, we have made some progress in addressing gender-based violence. We are better at defining the issues and collecting the data and identifying what works. We are steadily improving the quality of services as various hotlines have been made available, as well as departments tasked with the issue of actively addressing gender-based violence. However, despite these advances, gender-based violence is still a global crisis with the same root cause: inequitable gender norms. We call on all men and women from all society sectors to join forces for an end to gender-based violence. We recognize that men are crucial for ending gender inequalities. Traditionally, men were the authors and benefactors of patriarchy, but we require a paradigm shift, where men and women are not idly standing by, but actively standing against gender-based violence and gender inequalities. It cannot be emphasized enough. You have rights and recourse, and your silence not only condones the perpetrator's actions, but spurs him on, thus placing your mother, your sister, and even your daughter in harm's way and in the hands of an abuser.